Yo, what's up, everyone? So today I'm going to be covering Forretress and Pineco, and I am beyond hype. I am in love with the changes for these guys. There is a lot to cover, a lot that may not be immediately apparent, so definitely make sure you watch this all the way to the end. Um, they are so cool. I honestly I didn't like Forretress that much before, but just after doing all these changes and really like analyzing their design, like they are just cool fucking Pokemon. But, this is not a video about how cool they are. This is a video about how well, actually, technically, is about how cool they are, but not in terms of design, but in terms of mechanics. So, um, I've done a lot with them. Most importantly is the move pool and abilities. Stats are also greatly improved, of course, but the abilities and the way that those abilities interact with their new moves and all of these move buffs and move changes are actually the most impressive part of Forretress's new toolkit. So, um, Fortress stat-wise and Pineco stat-wise, they are now mixed attackers. Again, very fitting to their nature as like literal turrets. I mean, he's literally like a war machine. He already learned a bunch of special moves by level up, like Zap Cannon and shit. So, I figured why not throw make him a mixed attacker. They already had a good 90 base attack, just make it equal. So that's super sick. And then their special defense is also much higher because, again, they are a fortress. They are like this armored turret, and it makes a lot of sense that they should also be able to take special hits pretty well. Not nearly as well as their physical hits, but still a very good special defense that of base 90. And they have a good 75 base HP as well. Pineco, similar rules, just a little bit less attack, more mixed attacking stats, better physical defense, better special defense. Nothing too impressive. Well, not that it's not impressive, but that the main awesome factor comes from their abilities. So I'm going to cover the new abilities. All right. So Forretress has a new ability called Rapid Fire. And what this ability does is it makes all of the moves in the hack that hit 3 times guaranteed, any move that hits at least 3 times. So 3 or more times, and then explosion moves. So that includes the 2 to 5 hit moves such as Spike Cannon, Rock Blast, Bullet Seed, and Pin Missile. Those 4 moves Fortress does get access to, and they are. I should probably just remove this bottom row because, like, I know. I guess technically stuff like Toucan will get that. Never mind. But it's so awesome. So all of those moves are 25 base power and 100% accurate. And then you have these multiple 3-hit moves, which are again like new moves. Most of these, the entire top row is basically new moves. Well, actually, most of these moves are all new, and if they aren't new, they're definitely reworked massively because we all know Flame Burst didn't used to hit 3 times, Tri Attack didn't used to hit 3 times, etc. But I am beyond hyped to get into this. So, God, there's so much to talk about. You have great offensive stats of 90-90, which are not like extremely powerful, but when you consider the abilities and the stats and the typing, they become really awesome. Such an awesome like offensive and defensive. Oh, such a cool mod. I want to use one so bad. So, if you go to the move sheet here, you can also look along yourself. If you choose to do so, you can look at that from the description. I have it linked to the Google Sheets in the description. If you type in multi-hit moves, you can see a list right here. You can see what they all do. So obviously these are all just new moves. Were like buffed. So Spike Cannon, Steel. You got Pin Missile, and then you have Bullet Seed and Rock Blast for coverage. So you have dual stab right there. So those moves at worst are 50 base power, and at maximum are 125. And the average base power of these moves is 77.5. So Forretress essentially has access to multi-hitting, roughly 77.5, 80-ish base power moves. So that's like extreme speed levels of power in terms of like the average base power of these moves. Obviously, yes, it is a little bit inconsistent, but worst case, you're getting a 50 base power double hitting priority move. So that also bypasses, stuff like Focus Sash, 30, super effective berries like a Tanga berry for bug type, like all of that stuff. Forretress just bombards right through all that stuff. It's awesome. He completely passes through those with all these moves. So yeah, that's worst case. You're getting 50 base power, and then of course there's a little bit of variety there. It is a little bit inconsistent, but that's why you learned him earlier. He will get those at 33 for the non-stab options and 35 for the stab options, and then he has moves that will always hit 3 times. So God, it's so strong. So at level 68 and 70, you get access to Triple Cannonade and Bug Bomber. Both of those are 25 base power moves that hit 3 times and are 90% accuracy. The catch is they always crit and they bypass protect. So those are effectively 113 base power moves. And again, they hit 3 times. So like I said earlier, the fact that you bypass stuff like Focus Sash and Sturdy is really awesome, especially because a lot of trainers will have stuff like Focus Sash and Sturdy to stop you from sweeping. But Forretress doesn't give a fuck about that. He multi-hits right through all those Sturdy and Sash mounts, as well as stuff like Multi-Scale and Energy Shield, which is a new ability that is an equivalent to Multi-Scale. So yeah, it's super fucking strong. And those are both dual stab. Obviously, they hit on special or physical side, but you have equal 90-90 offenses, so it's basically just picking between those two, or you can run both. You know, it's up to you. If you're running a physical set, you can run Triple Candidate and keep Pin Missile. If you're running a mixed set, you can run Bug Bomber, but there's so much awesome setup too I want to get into. So I just want to cover all these moves first. So also the logic of Rapid Fire is very fitting, I think. I mean, come on, they are literally a turret, and their all-day deck entries talk about how they shoot out like missiles and pieces of their shell from their cannons. So, and they already learned a bunch of cannon moves, like, you know, all the spike cannon, zap cannon, all that stuff. They learned all that stuff. So yeah. So they also have access to a couple other moves. So they have access to Bar Barrage early on, as soon as they evolve, because they get it from Pineco. So Bar Barrage is overall 60 base power, consistent, and it always poisons. So that's really nice to have as a priority move. It's just nice coverage, and it's solid priority moves. And then you get access to Tri Attack the level after you evolve, or 2 levels actually after you evolve. Tri Attack becoming 105 base power overall and has a 27% chance to status if you do the math for 3 hits, and of course hits 3 times. It's neutral normal type coverage, so it's not anything insane, which is why they get it at level 33, which is 2 levels after they evolve. But it's nice to have, especially because it's priority. And then one of the most impressive options you have besides the massive power of Bug Bomber and Triple Candidate, and then, like, you know, Bullet Seed, Rock Blast, all that stuff, is Burning Barrage. Burning Barrage, for those of you who are actually up to date with my work, might notice that this is a new move. I actually just created this move. I had it in the backlogs for a while. Originally, I had planned to make it just signature for Turtonator. Then I was like, you know what, fuck it. It fits a couple of Pokemon, so I know for a fact that stuff like Toucannon, and I also, for those of you who watched the Magmortar video, I did edit the description on that video because I ended up giving it to Magmortar. Magmortar is Fire Steel and also has access to Rapid Fire, so he also has Triple Candidate, and then Burning Barrage is stab on him. But for Forretress and Magmortar, it's an amazing option. Also, this should be italicized because that's a new move. Bar Barrage is technically isn't, because it's from Legends Arceus, so I kept the name non-bolded or non-italicized. I only put the quote-unquote new moves as like new moves, meaning like new custom moves. Obviously, these moves all function differently than they used to anyways, but you know, just in terms of the name, if I stole the name, I keep it as a unbolded or unitalicized. But anyways, yeah, Burning Barrage is the same thing as Bar Barrage, but it's fire type and it burns instead of poison. So with Rapid Fire, Forretress has a 60 base power move that is priority and burns. It's like Prankster Will-O-Wisp in a way, but it's actually 100% accurate. It's such an awesome, powerful move. It will have limited distribution. Only things like Forretress, Toucannon, Turtonator, Magmortar, and then maybe like a handful of others will get access to this move. But nonetheless, it's an amazing option. I think it fits well enough. I know that Forretress getting a fire type move seems weird, but I think if you look at the animation for what Burning Barrage is, it's not like it's shooting fire. It's shooting little red hot spikes. So they're like metal spikes that have like red tips, like they're red from the heat. And then the impact animation when it hits the opponent is like fiery, kind of. It's not fiery, but it's like an explosion. So I figured, you know, you can make that fire type, even though technically if I wanted to be truly accurate, it would be a steel type move that burns, which is cool, but I already have Spike Cannon and Triple Cannonade, so I figured Burning Barrage is cooler. And also we have 2 fire type rapid fire mons in Turtonator and Magmortar. Turtonator's changes are not done yet, but you know, giving you guys a little bit of a in advanced thinking, Turtonator also have access to that. But yeah, Burning Barrage is amazing as well. And then you also have access to buffed Explosion and then a new move called Detonate. So Explosion is 250 base power, but it always crits. So it's essentially 375 base power. And that's priority. That's going to be really good for trainers to abuse. If you're doing a Nuzlocke, that's useless. I mean, unless you want to die. But it's just really, it's there for flavor and also because it's powerful. And then I also recently made it so that Explosion and Detonate are both rapid fire moves. So Detonate is an equivalent. This is fine. I should also probably put Burning Barrage and Detonate here as well, because these are attacking moves that will always burn as well. So I should probably put those 2 there. Excuse me, everybody. Yeah, you can also go to this move section here. Everything is organized into like categories, so you can see all the attacking moves that now status the opponent, all the poisoning ones, all the sleeping or making you drowsy. Let me just quickly detonate and then burn. Detonate. Here, there we go. Sorry, everybody. So yeah, that's an incredible option. And then you have Detonate, which is 250 base power, so it is weaker than Explosion. However, it's fire type, which is good coverage, and it always burns. So you're either having a 375 base power move. Explosion is usually better for, which is why, like for example, if you go back to the changes, you can see that it learns Explosion significantly earlier than it learns Burning Barrage and Detonate, because Burning Barrage and Detonate are much better than Explosion on Forretress, so it learns Explosion earlier. Explosion is powerful for trainers, especially. I can give them like hazards, and then they can just blow up priority. It's like an instant cuss stat berry in a way, if I want to do that. But for a certain for certain trainers, which is really awesome. So yeah, rapid fire is an amazing ability, and what you can do with rapid fire is you can actually take advantage of other setup moves. So again, you have all those moves I just listed, and then you also have stuff like Z lock on. So Z lock on gives you a +3 special attack boost. So that's a tail glow boost essentially, or in this case, power glow. And you can use Z lock on, get that +3 special attack boost, and then you can click Bug Bomber with rapid fire for priority, and you don't have to worry about that 90% accuracy. So you'll always land that next Bug Bomber as well. And that's so powerful. I mean, that's a priority 113 base power move that crits and it hits 3 times. So you can just sweep entire teams with that, because the Pokemon that I give, like Focus Sash and Sturdy, you completely bypass that. And at +3 special attack, your 90 base special attack is very high. You can even run no investment. You can run like max HP and max defense or special defense if you want. That's so strong and awesome and fun. So yeah, Z-Lock on level 70 plus Bug Bomber is awesome. And then you also have access to Power Trick at level 50. So with Power Trick, you have base 140 defense that will swap with your base 90 attack. So you'll still be pretty bulky, 75, 90, 90, but you'll be gaining a base 140 attack stat. And of course, before you use Power Trick, you'll be bulky. So you can always do that at an opportune time. And then with Power Trick, you can click Rapid Fire, Bullet Seed, Rock Blast, Pin Missile, Spike Cannon, Burning Barrage, and then Triple Cannonade. Those are all your physical rapid fire moves. So you have priority, so you don't have to worry about your lower speed stat. That's incredible, truly incredible. You can also do Shell Smash at level 66. You are not that fast with Shell Smash. However, if you are a neutral speed nature and you run max speed investment, you will be reaching 358 speed, which I believe that will outspeed base 110 Pokemon that are maxed out. So like a Jolly nature base 110 Pokemon, I believe is like what, 350, if I have to remember correctly. Yeah, 350. So you are outspeeding base 110 with a neutral nature Forretress. And if you're at plus speed nature, you're really fast. You're hitting 392 speed, which is like almost 135 base speed. So you're really fast with a plus speed nature, and of course without it, you're still very quick. So Shell Smash is extremely potent, and you don't have to use Rapid Fire with Shell Smash if you don't need to. You can always use regular move sets, regular moves, and you have tons of amazing coverage options now as well, which I'll cover in a little bit. I just want to go in order of the most important not most important, but the most different things, or the most things that warrant explanation. So all of these new moves and new abilities warrant more explanation than the stuff that you can see that is obviously changed and extremely good, but a little more intuitive. So yeah, you also have access to buffed Autotomize. Autotomize functions almost like Shell Smash now, where you essentially get +5 speed and you lose 1 -1 defenses. So that's incredibly useful. That is earlier than Shell Smash, and is also arguably better in some cases, because you get more speed. So say you have a neutral nature, you can run 0 speed investment and you can run bulk instead, or you can run max in both your offenses if you wanted to. You could run 252 in both attack and special attack, and then just click Autotomize. And at +5 speed, you are outspeeding everything with 0 investment. You're at 406 base speed. That's like outspeeding the vast majority of things in the hack. So that's incredible. I also have to add Forretress to the speed tier guide, so let me do that while I talk. Again, I'm emphasizing all of this offensive stuff, but Forretress is not purely offensive, as you guys can obviously tell by the Bug Steel typing and the great bulk. You have access to reliable recovery in, hold on, let me find the speed tier before I talk. You have access to reliable recovery in the moves Molt and Fortify. Both of those are just variants of the move Recover. So you have access to those. And of course, healing items are disabled in this hack, so you cannot use potions to heal your Pokemon. So if you want to heal, you're going to have to use a move slot. You also have access to Rest and Sleep Talk, which is okay. And then via TM. And then you actually have a really cool thing, which is buffed Swallow. in Stockpile. So Stockpile will give you +1 to both your defenses, and then Swallow is now a priority move that will heal you by 100% HP no matter what. So as long as you have a Stockpile up, you'll always heal to full HP with Swallow. So what you can do actually is run like Stockpile. You can Stockpile on that first turn. You can do whatever you need to do in those remaining turns, and then once you're low HP, you can click Swallow and heal to full HP. It's a little bit gimmicky, but it's still a really good option, and it's definitely worth teaching to your Pokemon. So, or to your Forretress rather. So that's incredible. And again, 75, 140, 90 bulk with Bug Steel typing is amazing. And of course, you also have Priority Rock Blast to deal with those fire types, and you have a lot of other great coverage. I did consider keeping Sturdy on them for a Shell Smash, but their new ability in Bulletproof is much better and much more interesting and unique, in my opinion. How much speed does Pineco have? 15? Yeah. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. This should be at the bottom right here. So yeah, that's incredible. You again have access to reliable recovery. You also have access to a lot of great hazards and utility. So you have spikes, stealth rock, toxic spikes, rocks and spikes. Toxic spikes being TMs. Spikes being a niche thing, maybe for early game for like Hala, you could use that. Otherwise, it's not really worth it. It's just there for flavor. And then you actually get access to Sticky Web at level 40, which is a great option for team support as well. You have other good utility moves like Toxic, Acid Spray, Toxic Acid Spray. I mean, even Bar Barrage is arguably utility, but Baneful Bunker is nice early game. You know, that's nice with like leftovers and stuff. Siphon and Giga Drain will heal you. So Siphon is a 45 base power bug type move that heals you by 100% of your damage taken, or that you deal rather. So it's special. It's like a weaker special version of Leech Life essentially. And then you have, you know, Infestation, which is like a nice early game move. Struggle Bug and Skitter Smack are roughly equivalent to one another. They drop the special attack of the opponent, which is nice, 60 and 70 base power respectively. Tons of amazing new covers moves that I need to cover. So also, I didn't talk about Pineco's abilities yet. They're very self-explanatory. It's Sturdy and Battle Armor. They're just useful. Battle Armor is nice to not have to worry about crits if you want to run like a Hardened set or something early game, and then Sturdy is otherwise a really good ability just to have for like totems and stuff. You can always use Sturdy, and then you can get a guaranteed Toxic on a totem. Sturdy versus like Totem Marowak or something could be good with like Bar Barrage to poison Marowak. It's a good ability to have always. So that's awesome. You also have really good utility with like Parting Shot and U-Turn on Forretress and Pineco. Because you're slow, so you can be like a really good pivot because of how bulky and because of your typing. You can also run stuff like Assault Vest with U-Turn or Volt Switch. You could run like an AV set with like Volt Switch, Giga Drain, maybe even Siphon if you wanted to, which is pretty cool. What else have I not covered yet? Withdraw is just the worst version of Stockpile because it has 2 PP versus Stockpile can only go up to +3 as well, but once you swallow, you can then stockpile again. So stockpile is technically an upgrade over withdraw, but withdraw I had to keep it for flavor, so that's why it has both. Metal Burst is nice just for for totems and just to have if you want it. Steamroller is really cool. Steamroller is 100 base power, 100% accurate, and will always boost your speed by 1. So you can use Steamroller with like Shell Smash maybe on a physical set, which could be pretty cool. Like Steamroller, Shell Smash, triple candidate type deal could be pretty solid. You have Gyro Ball without Shell Smash sets. Gyro Ball is amazing because it will lower your speed by 2. So not only are you already getting a really strong Gyro Ball on that first turn, but then each turn after that it gets even stronger. You have First Impression for priority. You have Lunge to whittle down their defenses. It's 85 base power, -1 defense. Oh, I didn't cover Bulletproof yet. Yeah, so Bulletproof. Bulletproof is technically not a new ability, obviously. However, lots more Pokemon will have access to it now. And in this hack, you have access to infinite usability capsules, so you don't have to worry about like which ability to use. You just use whichever ability is more optimal for you in that situation. For whatever boss battle or trainer battle is coming up, then you switch your ability around. Say, for example, you see that the trainer battle coming up ahead has an Aura Sphere Pokemon or a Shadow Ball Pokemon. Okay, then run Bulletproof. If you need to switch in on that for free. So again, with Bulletproof, the reason I have a new section for it is because there are new moves that work with Bulletproof purely because of the way that Bulletproof works. I actually cannot add new abilities to Bulletproof, but I can, new moves to Bulletproof rather, but I can make it so that it will like I can change old moves that were bulletproof affected to new moves. So all of this top row is moves that have just that. You're already immune to scum shot and sludge shot and sludge bomb, so ignore those. But even these moves that you resist, like again, you resist a lot of these moves, but that doesn't make it. That doesn't mean that being immune to them is bad. I mean, being immune to them is still a great tool to have, because taking 0 damage from something is always better than taking neutral or resisted damage from something. So most impressively, you're immune to stuff like Searing Shot, which is a common attacking move on a lot of fire types now. It's not 100%. 100 base power, 95% accurate. You know, it's just like it's like a flamethrower that's stronger but inaccurate, that a lot of fire types get access to. So you're immune to that, which is all amazing. You're also immune to Weather Ball in the sun, and also Weather Ball in other weathers. But I'm just talking about super effective moves. So yeah, you have those two, which you are weak to. You are weak to fire, obviously, as your only weakness. So being immune to those two moves is really nice. And then of course you're immune to very common attacks such as Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Focus Blast, Aura Sphere. All of these moves are common, and will be on a lot of Pokemon. And then you're immune to a lot of really cool moves that are actually buffed. So Mud Bomb, which Forretress also gets access to, is a 110 base power move that is 90% accurate and always lowers speed by 1. So that's nice to be immune to that. It's a very strong neutral ground type move that hits you on your weaker special defense. Obviously, your special defense is still great, base 90, but you are more vulnerable on that side, so it's nice to be immune to that. Zap Cannon is also a move that Forretress gets access to. Zap Cannon is also affected by Bulletproof, so you're immune to that if you're running Bulletproof. Zap Cannon is one of many new moves. So Zap Cannon and Rock Wrecker are both new moves that not new moves, but they are modified to work like Draco Meteor. So I have a whole list here of all of those moves that do that now. They're 150 base power -2 to whatever attacking stat they use. So yeah, you're immune to Rock Wrecker and Zap Cannon, which is nice. Very common, or pretty common moves. So again, it's situational, but in those situations, this ability is extremely good. So you can always just swap between these abilities at will with the ability capsules and make the most of both of them. So that's all really awesome stuff right there, right? Bulletproof is very useful. You're definitely going to be one of taking advantage of that. So I hope that explained that. What else is there? I don't think there's too much else to talk about besides some more coverage moves. I opted not to give them any setup besides Power Tricks. I mean, they have all they need. They have Power Trick, Shell Smash, Z Lock On, a couple of other random Z moves. Rage technically can boost your attack, which is nice. Charge Beam boosts your special attack. So all that stuff is really nice. But yeah, VTM, they have a lot of really useful stuff. So you have like the terrains, like electric and grassy terrain, which you can use to either activate your own items, or you can use that to activate your teammates. So you can, like, you know, if you have a Grassy Guard or Volt Rush teammate, you can set up the grassy terrain, and then you can you can U-turn or Parting Shot out or Volt Switch out. You have access to all 3 of those switch moves, which is nice. So you can grassy terrain or electric terrain and switch out. You can also use hazards, so you can go with like webs plus grassy terrain for Grassy Guard and then switch out, or whatever you want to do there. It's nice to have that as a TM to have. You have lots of great coverage, so grass coverage, obviously Bug Stab, Steel Stab. You have fighting coverage with Aura Sphere and Takedown and Focus Blast. Aura Sphere, I think, fits and Focus Blast because he has these cannons, so I think he can shoot those out of his cannons, like Mega Launcher, kind of. I opted not to give Dark Pulse, but I honestly probably could have, but I opted not to. Because Fear is more of like Aura Sphere is a bulletproof move, so it's kind of why I also wanted to give it, just because it's like, oh, he has the moves that he's also immune to, most of them at least, the ones that make sense. Yeah, you have lots of great electric type coverage now as well, because they already had access to Volt Switch. So I was like, you know what, if they already had Volt Switch and Zap Cannon naturally, then I may as well give them the rest of the electric TMs, like Shockwave, which is priority, Electroweb, which is lower speed, Charge Beam boost special attack, Thunderbolt, Thunder, good coverage, Wild Charge, good coverage. Tons of rock moves as well, ground coverage as well with Mud Fling, Mud Bomb, Drill Run, Earthquake, Scorching Sands, all of this stuff. Poison coverage, which is not the greatest, but it's there. It's kind of useless because you already hit all those with your stabs. You hit fairies and you hit fairies already, and you also hit what am I trying to say? You hit fairies and you hit grass already with your dual stab. So it's still decent though to have as an option. You never know, you might need it. Maybe there's a grass fairy or something in front of you that for some reason will survive your other hits. You know, you never know. So that's really cool. Venoshock is also cool with like poison moves like Toxic Spikes or Toxic or Bar Barrage. God, and I mean, really, dude, I know I'm like restating this, but Priority Burning Barrage is so strong, man. Like, that's literally just a priority burning move on a Bug Steel type with reliable recovery. Like, this man is so bulky and defensive and strong. Such a cool Pokemon. I would love to use one now. It's so awesome. Probably in my top 10 favorite changes so far, which might sound weird because there's a lot of awesome shit and I love a lot of these mons, but I don't know, I just really want to get it. I just think Fortress is awesome. So I hope there's other fellow Fortress lovers out there, because I definitely consider myself one now. It's kind of an overlooked mon, you know, very forgettable, but super fucking cool design. I love the little sunken eyes and stuff. But anyways, yeah, tons of good coverage, grass coverage as well. You know, you got everything you need here. You can hit a lot of stuff super effectively, pretty easily. So yeah, I think that's honestly about it. I mean, you're a great sweeper, great bulky Pokemon, great pivot. It can do a lot of things. You also have stuff like Rapid Spin, which boosts your speed by 2 now, which you can use on boosting sets early game or late game, even if you wanted to do that with like maybe an Assault Vest set, like Charge Beam, Rapid Spin or something. You know, it's gimmicky, but it's there with like Assault Vest. Yeah, I think that's honestly about it. I think I covered every move. I mean, Tavek is 60 base power, negative priority, so it'll always be 120 base power. That's cool for coverage. I already talked about Autotomize, Burning Barrage, Detonate. I talked about all that already, so I think I covered everything here. A couple of more niche things as well by a tutor, like a Pain Split is there, you know. You have Weather to set up for your teammates. Really powerful stabs like Smart Strike is really cool with Triple Cannonade, because Smart Strike boosts your accuracy by 1 when you use it. Flash Cannon is just a powerful stab move, 110 base power. Yeah, honestly, I think I covered everything. So thank you so much for listening. I really hope you guys found this one as interesting and fun and cool as I do. It would help if you could leave a comment, if you could like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new here, that would be really helpful for me, because it helps boost the algorithm and recommend my videos to more people. If you found this type of change appealing and you want to see more, you can watch my other videos. You can check the Google Sheet for yourself in the description, and you can see all the Pokemon changes yourself. You can join my Discord server. You can talk to me in there. All that stuff would be helpful for you if you are interested in this. So I really do appreciate the time. Thank you, and I'll be back for more.